Hi everyone, my name is Alvin Hajar, and today I wanted to take some time to analyze this painting. It's called The Creation of Adam, and it was created by artist Michelangelo and can be found at the top of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. In this visual analysis, I want to explore the visual techniques utilized in the painting and what significance they hold. Now, when we first look at this painting, two figures immediately pop out at us: a muscular, bearded man on the right, and a muscular, seemingly careless man on the left. The two are reaching out to touch, and Michelangelo paints the moment just before they do so. We can identify the man on the left as Adam and the man on the right as God. Now, let's get into it. First, I want to discuss the gazes of the individuals involved. Let's start with the gaze of God. It seems as though he is looking down at this moment, as are many other people in the background. We have one here that's looking down, three here that seem to be looking down as well, one here that may be looking this way, and one here that may be looking this way. We also notice one person over here who is looking at Adam. We also see one person over here who is looking away, but that is probably not out of their own will. It's probably because of the pressure that God is applying on their shoulder, and maybe because of the excruciating pain that is causing the individual. Now, by contrast, let's look at Adam's gaze. We see that he isn't even looking at the moment. He's, in fact, looking at God. Adam's gaze stays consistent with his body posture. He seems inconvenienced, as though he had to turn his body to make this moment happen. It seems as though he really doesn't want it to happen. He looks as though he doesn't really care. His arm is bent, as is his wrist. And by contrast, when we look at God's arm, it's fully extended, and he's holding on to one of the figures in the background, as we just discussed, to make this moment happen. He's clearly at least a little bit inconvenienced. Now, the importance of this moment that Michelangelo was trying to highlight was that this is the moment that gave life to mankind. Maybe that is why the people in the background, who seem to be normal human beings just like us, are looking so intently at this moment. This is the moment that gave life to humans. This is the moment that gave humanity to humans. Maybe the reason Adam doesn't seem to care is because he is already alive. When we look at the background over here, we see that all the figures are encapsulated in this brain-like figure. By contrast, we look out here and we see Adam, who seems to be already in the real world. We see maybe a mountain in the background, maybe a river right here, but we'll get back to that later. Additionally, many who view this moment seem to think that it is only the moment that gave humans life and their humanity, as we just discussed. But I would argue that the spark that God and Adam share in this painting wasn't just about life, but it was also about intellect. I think the brain in the background is a symbol of that, and it's a symbol that this moment isn't just about life, it's about giving humans their intelligence and intellect as well. Now, as we take a closer look at the brain, we begin to notice its color. It seems to be a dark red, which is a stark contrast from the pink color that is typically associated with the brain. It's much more intense. It pops out at us much quicker. We also notice other trends with color in the painting. There's lots of white in the middle over here, in the background of this moment that is about to happen. This makes sense because why would Michelangelo include something colorful and big that is happening in the background of the purpose of this entire painting? We also see blue right here, which is maybe to signify a river, as we discussed earlier. And this seems to be like earth on this half, as we see a mountain in the background with some grass maybe, some mud, and maybe some dirt over here as well. Now, let's take a look at proportion. God and Adam are much larger than the other humans in the painting. We see that the figure of God is much larger than the figure, for example, of this individual in the background. It wouldn't make sense for the figures in the background to have the same size as God and Adam. Yes, this moment is about them and the creation of their lives, but they are not the ones who are making this happen. It creates a power dynamic that this moment is happening between God and Adam, and they will make this moment happen, and there's nothing that the people in the background can do to stop it. Finally, I wanted to take a look at perspective. As we see this painting right now, it's at eye level. But in reality, when we see this in person, we are looking at this painting from the ground level, putting us beneath the ceiling that it is created on. This is significant because the eye level point of views allow an audience to better empathize with what is actually happening in the painting. Eye-level paintings make it seem relatable and something that others can do, but no average human can create a spark to spark humanity. That is a godlike power reserved for God himself. And for that reason, when we would be viewing this, we would be looking up at God and looking up at the Sistine Chapel ceiling to see it. The creation of Adam is an amazing piece of Western art, though it has seen some better days. The Sistine Chapel's ceiling has suffered centuries of smoke that has caused the ceiling to go darker. But nevertheless, this moment will likely forever be ingrained in the minds of humans. Michelangelo is telling viewers who their creator is. He evidently claims that it is God, and he tells us how that moment has happened. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.